So, the Oceanic, a White Star liner that sadly never got to see the light of day. But there was talk about building the vessel and bringing it to life. So, what this video will be, we shall cover the history of the vessel, a short one, and then I have some theories that I would like to share with you all. So I hope you enjoy. So in 1926 there was a press release talking about that the White Star Line would have had a new ship, the Oceanic. She would have had a speed of 25 knots and she would replace the Homeric. Her profile would be close to that one of the Olympic class vessels. Now if we take a look at the Oceanic, there are some things that are quite similar to other vessels of the White Star Line, the MV Britannic and the MV Georgic. For example, the bridge of the Oceanic looks a lot to the bridge of the MV Georgic. Now if we look at the funnels, there are also the same kind of funnels that we see on the MV Georgic and the MV Britannic. So in my opinion, that's quite cool. And it also made me think that the Oceanic was kind of the big sister of the two. Now on 14 April 1927, construction then of the Britannic began at Holland de Wolf. And of course the Oceanic would also have been built by Holland de Wolf. The Britannic was a smaller version of the proposed liner, but of similar design. Now, can we imagine how cool that would have been? So, let's fantasize for a minute. So, both ships are in Southampton, and you see the small Britannic leaving. And then, behind you, you see the huge Oceanic coming to dock. Like the kind of Queen Mary liner. I think that must have been so cool to see. Like a huge liner with those three big funnels. That would have been an amazing sight. Now the Oceanic 3 estimates gave it a length of over 300 meters and 60,000 gross registered tons, making it the largest liner ever built and the first to exceed the symbolic 1,000 foot mark. Construction of the ship's keel began with great fanfare 10 days after the contract was signed, as you can imagine with such a big project. Now let's take a look at the capacity of the vessel. She was designed to carry 722 passengers in first class, 464 in second, and 1096 in third. And also 240 interchangeable seats between first and second class, and 286 between second and third, for a total of 2,808 passengers. So the White Star Line, they were going all out on this project. Sadly though, construction was proceeding at a very slow pace, to such an extent that a year later the ship's keel wasn't even laid, so she was not still completed. White Star proposed having over 440 diesel generator sets driving 4 propellers through geared electric motors. Now the Holland de Wolf, they weren't so fond of this plan, and they were preferring the trusted use of steam turbine propulsion. At the end, a compromise of sorts was reached, and the final design used 4 conventional low-speed cathedral diesel engines, each driving 1 propeller shaft, which would have made Oceanic the first quadruple screw motor ship. Despite the construction on the Oceanic slowing down, construction on her smaller vessel, on her smaller sister, the Britannic, would continue. And then the Great Depression began, and that certainly didn't help the ship, because further work on the Oceanic was again postponed. At the end, the Oceanic would cost too much. Loans backed by the governments of England and Northern Ireland, intended for the construction of Oceanic, were diverted to complete the construction of the Britannic, as well as to start construction of a sister ship to Britannic named Georgic. These two liners were partially built with steel plates ordered for Oceanic, whose particularly built hull was subsequently dismantled and reused on Britannic and Georgic. And I quickly want to apologize because I know we are seeing much images of the Oceanic over and over again, but sadly, as you all know, the ship wasn't built, so there aren't much pictures, so bear with me. Now we shall move on to the theories, and that is my favorite part. So I made a script and I hope you enjoy it. So we all know, sadly, that the Oceanic 3 never saw the light of day. But let's just dream to a timeline where the Oceanic 3 was built and would commence service. The Great Depression would not be in this timeline. Now, both the Britannic and Oceanic would be launched. The Britannic beginning her maiden voyage on 28 June 1930, and the Oceanic a maiden voyage would have been 2 years later. The amount of success these two vessels would achieve would be huge, and also regaining their huge success and trust to the White Star Line itself after the Titanic sank. Now, the Cunard Line, the competitors of the White Star Line, they were on the sideline, because all the attention was going to these two new White Star liners. But the Cunard Line wouldn't be on the sideline too long, as they themselves were building also their superliners, the RMS Queen Mary and the RMS Queen Elizabeth. So the building, launch and maiden voyage would all remain the same of the original timeline. Now, sadly, World War II would begin, and I think the Oceanic would have been a troop ship like the Queen Mary, sailing in convoys together. Now, we all know that the Queen Mary could house millions of troops on her decks and inside, so imagine that double with the Oceanic carrying that much troops and the Elizabeth as well. What a huge achievement that would have been. So, like I said, I think that the Oceanic would be a troop ship sailing in convoys together with the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth. Now, after the war, the superliners would dominate the oceans, making huge success for the companies. But with the introduction of airplanes and flight and travel by air, the ocean liner business wouldn't be that what it once was, and the costs were running high. So at the end, it was uncertain what the fate of the Oceanic would be. Now, after many years of not knowing what would happen to the Oceanic, and with ocean liner decreasing more, and after being heard that the Queen Mary was bought by Long Beach in 1967 and being used as an hotel museum ship, Great Britain would do the same with the Oceanic 3, laying her up at her old shipyard Holland Wolf, where she would remain to this day as an hotel and museum ship like the Queen Mary. And that is the end of the video for what if Oceanic 3 survived and was built. Now there are some things I left out, like the Cunard and White Star merge. That isn't in my timeline, because in my timeline there were still competitors. And one thing that I'm certainly certain of is, if Oceanic 3 was built and had an amazing service time, that the White Star Line would still be with us today, making cruise ships, maybe ships like the QE2. How cool would it have been if this ship actually sailed the oceans? So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and leave down in the comments what you think of my theories, because I'm genuinely curious. And I quickly want to take a time to also thank all my new subscribers. It really means a lot, and it's nice to see that so many of you guys enjoy my content. Now, if you have friends who like ocean liners or ships of any kind, please show them my channel. We are trying to reach the 500 subscribers. So, with that out of the way, guys, I hope you have a good day or night wherever you are, and we will see each other in the next video. Goodbye.